The court is on the record in City of Pontiac versus Amber R. McHenry, case number 24 TRD 527. Court is in receipt of a pretrial report. Mr. Lewis.
Thank you, Your Honor. We may have a resolution of the matter, should the court be willing to accept it, whereby the city would dismiss the fictitious plate charge at defendant's cost, and Ms. McHenry would then enter the plea of guilty to the two remaining charges of failure to reinstate driving under suspension and expired plates. The city would then recommend whatever fines the court would deem appropriate along with the court costs of the case. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sayaj.
Thank you, Your Honor. I did convey the offer from Law Director Lewis to my client, Ms. McHenry, after extensive talks and going over what she would be waiving today. She has decided today that she would take the plea offer along with the state's recommendation of just court costs and fines.
Okay, Ms. McHenry, it's my understanding today that you wish to change, you originally entered no plea to charges of failure to reinstate an unclassified misdemeanor and expired plates, a minor misdemeanor. You wish to enter guilty pleas to those two charges. In exchange for those guilty pleas, the fourth-degree misdemeanor charge of fictitious plates would be dismissed at your cost. Is that what you would like to see happen today?
I believe so.
You understand by pleading guilty to those charges that you would be waiving your right to the jury trial that is currently scheduled at the end of the month, as well as all of your trial rights. We just had a trial last week, so you kind of know what a trial is like. So by pleading guilty to these two charges, you'd be waiving all of those trial rights. Is that what you wish to do?
Would that put an end to litigation?
Yes, it would.
I mean, no.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
Okay. Also, you are represented by Mr. Sayaj. Have you had sufficient time to consult with him, and are you satisfied with his counsel?
Yes.
Okay. I do find that defendant's pleas of guilty to these minor and unclassified misdemeanor offenses in subcase A and B, failure to reinstate and expired plates, to be knowing, voluntary, and intelligent. The court will accept the guilty pleas to those two charges, and I will therefore find her guilty of those offenses. I will dismiss at the defendant's cost the fictitious plates charge in subcase.
Buckle up, guys. Today we're diving into a courtroom showdown featuring not one, but three sovereign Karens who think they're above the law. The clip kicks off with a perfect setup. A judge ready for nonsense, and a narrator who knows exactly what's coming. You can already feel the tension rising as the stage is set for some top-tier courtroom reality. Let's jump right in.
I did not impose community work service. I could have. I did not impose a Class 7 license suspension. I could have on the failure to reinstate charge. I've just given you a fine and cost, although I'm ordering you to provide proof of insurance on the vehicle you're driving that day. If you're not able to provide to the clerk proof of insurance on the vehicle you're driving that day, you are subject to what we call a non-compliance suspension with the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. I guess what I'm saying is, Ms. Kennery, I could have sentenced you in a much more severe way. I did not. But understand that if you're back here with similar offenses and you're found guilty of those, I will impose those. What I didn't do today, I would do at a later time.
State of Georgia, Salah Holdings, Define Gresham, and Larry W. Johnson. All right, is there Ms. Turner, LaTanya Denise Turner?
Yes, I'm the attorney, in fact, on behalf of the principal, who is the resident agent. I have also already submitted forms appointing the judge over this matter to administrate on behalf of the principal, and I also submitted the rest of my entries on records. Now, with that being said, the Form 56 appointing Judge
Turner, I got to see you first.
Okay. I'm trying to, there I go.
Okay, there you are. All right, so Ms. Turner, Very, very quickly. I've reviewed the information that you provided. First of all, you're suing with respect to a foreclosure, which is a situation that involves land and a determination of ownership with respect to land. That is not my jurisdiction. I'm in state court. State court does not have jurisdiction over determinations of land. We deal with dispossessories, which is a temporary situation with respect to land, the allowing someone to use your land in exchange for rent or your property in exchange for rent. But we do not deal with the whether a foreclosure is proper. So in this case, this court is going to have to transfer your case to the Superior Court of Clayton County, depending on whether this is Clayton County that's involved. And so I see you're suing the state of Georgia. Not sure how they're involved. Not sure how any of these parties are really have an interest in this case. But with respect to the jurisdiction for foreclosures, that is not what I do. Okay. All right. Is there anyone else here on behalf of any of the other parties who either disagree with what I've said or who have anything that they would like to put on the record?
So, Your Honor, this is Larry Johnson. I represent Brian Widener as well as myself. I just want to point out to the court, this was initially filed and I was not named.
Okay.
And after I filed an answer on behalf of Mr. Widener, the plaintiff just stuck my name and added it to it without a court order. And at that point in time, she needed a court order. So I'm not personally, I mean, I'm only in this case because I filed an answer.
All right, guys. This first case begins with Amber McHenry standing before the judge, trying to outsmart the system with half-baked legal theories. But it doesn't take long before reality hits her hard. The judge remains calm but sharp, guiding her through every failed attempt at deflection. By the end, Amber's confidence starts to crumble, and her plea deal becomes the only way out. The tone shifts from defiance to defeat fast.
You have a set of beliefs about how the law works, but the way we do it here is just because somebody files on behalf of another person, everybody's entitled to have an attorney represent them. And so you can't then sue the attorney for giving them a defense. So everybody who comes into the case doesn't get sued individually. Like there are people who are responsible, allegedly, for what you are contending happened. But then there are other people who they choose to hire to help them navigate the case. For the people who are navigating the case and for the judges who are dealing with the case, you don't get to sue them because they don't have an interest in at that level. They're just trying to help the other person navigate the case, okay?
Could I get finished recording my interest on record?
No, ma'am. You've done that. You're the plaintiff.
Okay. Well, Judge, I would like to record my interest.
Now, this is where the judge seals a lesson. As Amber receives her sentence, you can hear the weight of accountability land on her shoulders. The judge's tone stays professional but cuts deep, reminding her that actions have real-world consequences. When the narrator throws in that lickable window punchline, it's a perfect comedic cool down after the legal heat. A flawless mix of justice and humor right here.
On behalf of the principal, who is the registered agent, I already submitted the Form 56 upon you over the matter to administration on behalf of our principal.
Ms. Turner, nobody gets to appoint me over the case. I'm already appointed to whatever's assigned to me through the clerk's office.
I appointed you through my for my trustee, and Your Honor, I would like to add also to the case and ask you a question.
No, ma'am.
Yes or no?
The question that I'm not going to answer any questions because this is not my jurisdiction. I'm going to transfer the case to Superior Court and let them sort it out because land use and land and interest in land is under the jurisdiction of the Superior Court. Okay, so we'll get you an order. We'll also dismiss Mr. Larry Johnson from the case pending whatever the Superior Court decides because he's only here to represent the defendant, which the defendant has a right to hire an attorney to represent them, and that attorney doesn't deserve to be sued because they are helping somebody defend themselves.
This case is also in the federal court also.
Okay, then if it's in federal court, then it probably doesn't need to be here also. You shouldn't have a case running in two different courts at the same time. Okay, that's just going to cause confusion. And you're not going to achieve what it is you wish to achieve.
Okay, Your Honor, I know this court has.
All right, guys, now we shift gears to Georgia, where the legendary Judge Tammy Hayward steps in. Her courtroom presence alone commands respect. But entering next is Latin Denise Turner, someone who believes she's found secret legal loopholes in the universe. The contrast between Tammy's composure and Turner's rambling claims instantly sets the stage for a legal masterclass in patience and power.
Is there or should there be an investment in private residential property in the United States? Or is deposit?
That is a question bigger than any of us can handle. People can invest in whatever they spend their money on. So at this point, I think that you're going a little bit too far afield. Like I said, we're going to go ahead and transfer this case to Superior Court, and my brother or sister judges on Superior Court will help you sort out what it is going on. Okay. All righty. So we'll go ahead and get an answer out to all of you. Get an order out to all of you transferring this case to Superior Court. But just as an aside, Miss Turner, everybody who comes in as a representative of somebody else, if they're an attorney, don't sue them, because it just makes the case harder to get through. Okay, if you want to achieve something with respect to finding out what happened with your foreclosure, don't keep adding people to the.
Your Honor, in this executive branch of law, I have a right to sue the attorney, anyone else involved.
Ms. Turner,
in this executive branch, I do have a right to sue them and anyone else involved.
It's nonsense. None of what you're saying makes sense. Ms. Turner,
it's federal law.
Ms. Turner, we're not in federal court. None of what you're saying makes sense. You haven't established an estate. There's no trustee. You're giving us word salad. You're just saying stuff that you've read or somebody told you was appropriate. It's essentially called a sovereign citizen. But
no, it's not a sovereign. It's not. I'm not a sovereign citizen.
If those things work, don't put
everybody. Don't put that on me. I'm not a sovereign citizen.
Turner, you've made statements that sovereigns use, and so
I have my trust set up, and I'm not a sovereign citizen.
Yes, ma'am.
I am a person working in my trust.
Okay,
I'm not a sovereign citizen.
All right,
that's against the law.
Okay,
I'm not a sovereign citizen. I have my trust set up.
Okay.
In a way that it's working for me, and I have it set up.
Okay.
And
This is where the courtroom turns into a battlefield of words. Turner starts unloading a storm of bizarre pseudo-legal jargon, talking about trust, principles, and land rights. But Judge Hayward doesn't flinch for a second. With precision and poise, she dismantles every claim without breaking a sweat. The more Turner talks, the clearer it becomes. Logic is winning, and sovereign delusion is collapsing in real time.
No, ma'am, we're not doing that.
And American Indian landowner.
No, ma'am. So we're not doing all that. So this is a simple eviction. So you can tell me how much was owed, how much you paid, whether there's anything to that allowed you to stay in the property, or whether there's money owed to you. I don't do the whole trust, tribe, all of that, because that's not what we do.
Well, that's what this is in regards to.
Well, then, ma'am, that's not what we're doing here. I would either have to transfer you to a tribal court, which I don't know of one exists for you, or for Superior Court, because this involves a foreclosure. Essentially, he bought the house through a foreclosure. You were a tenant in the house at the time, or you owned the house and he bought it under the foreclosure. And then it was whether you get to stay in the house and pay rent, or whether you're going to be evicted. Am I clear, Mr. Brown?
Yes, Your Honor. And
because I don't deal with I went to law school for 3 years, have practiced law for over 30 years, have been a judge for over 12 years. I don't do the trust stuff, because that's some arcane, esoteric stuff that you all believe that we don't follow here in the judicial system.
I understand. Well, I would also like to say that I'm not here to handle any of my private affairs in the public.
Okay, so I'm not sure what that means. You asked for the appeal.
Yes, and as I was stating, I'm a tribal member, part of the Cashbox Trust Tribe, and also an Indian American land.
Here's where things truly escalate. Turner doubles down on her nonsense, denying she's a sovereign citizen, while saying everything that proves she is. The judge's patience reaches its limit, and her calm responses start cutting through the fog like a razor. This back and forth shows exactly why sovereign citizens never win in real courts. Because fantasy collapses the moment truth walks in. You can't out-talk reality.
Owner. So this case is in regards to trust and tribal land.
So the property, the foreclosure is on a house on tribal land.
Correct.
Which tribe?
I'm sorry?
Which tribe?
This the Ebony
They
Milner
kicked me
tribe.
out.
No, sir. I don't know of that tribe, ma'am. So we either do
Yes,
this.
and all the documentation had been put on file as well.
Okay.
Post foreclosure.
Ma'am. So here's the thing. Like I said, I've explained to you that if somebody purchases a home through foreclosure, then the people who were owners of the home or buying the home have two options. They can leave or they can be treated as tenants in the home. And in this case, it appears that Mr. Brown's client sought to evict you, and now you are asking for a review of that. So in my role in this court, I can go through the case as if it was never heard in magistrate court. But what I will tell you is I'm going to ask very specific questions. I'm going to follow the law under the state of Georgia with respect to landlord tenant. And if you're not able to provide me that information, then I'm going to determine that you're not able to prosecute the case in the way that it needs to be, and I'll dismiss it for want of prosecution.
Well, again, American tribal landowner. So
Okay.
those laws
No,
that you
ma'am.
may speak of.
After that chaos, the narrator drops a savage line, calling her an idiot and a sovereign citizen rolled into one. It's brutal but honest. This short interlude acts as a reset before the next case, giving viewers a quick breather while keeping the tone biting and fast-paced. Within seconds, we're back in another courtroom, ready to watch the next self-proclaimed free citizen face legal gravity.
Dismiss your appeal for want of prosecution. The court does not have jurisdiction over American tribal land, nor is there a designation of this property being a tribal land. So at this point, the court is going to dismiss this for want of prosecution. Thank you. All right,
guys, now meet Ebony Milner, the third sovereign Karen who claims she's from a tribal land and beyond the court's reach. Judge Hayward listens, then calmly exposes every hole in her logic. The tension builds beautifully until Milner's excuses fall flat and the truth takes over once again. This final exchange closes a trilogy perfectly. 3 courts, 3 delusions, and 1 unshakable reality. If you enjoyed watching these courtroom moments unfold, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.